Hey guys, I hope your week is going well. As you can tell from the title and thumbnail of this video, today I'm going to be doing a very highly requested review for you all. People have been asking me for a long time to review the Drunk Elephant Umbra Sheer Physical Daily Defense Sunscreen. If you're not familiar with it, it is a broad spectrum mineral only SPF 30 sunscreen that is very popular. We're slated to do really well under makeup, although you guys know I don't wear makeup or have any concept about how things do with makeup. I try and comment on that to the best of my naive capacity, but this one supposedly does really well under makeup. People love it and are very enthusiastic about it, which makes me happy. You know, I like it when people are enthusiastic about a sunscreen, so let's chit chat about it today. Disclaimer, I did not buy this. It was sent to me, you know, I wasn't expected to review it or anything, and I'm not being paid to review it. These opinions, as always, are my own. You know, I can't hold back on my opinion. So my opinions are my own. I'm not being paid. I just didn't buy this. It was sent to me. So overall, you know, I can see why this is a popular sunscreen. The aesthetics of the sunscreen are very nice. It contains only 20% zinc oxide. Zinc oxide is a good mineral sunscreen ingredient, protects against UVB and UVA. So the rays of light that burn the skin, namely UVB, and contribute to skin cancers by directly damaging DNA, you're going to get reliable protection from those rays from the sunscreen. You are also going to get pretty reliable protection against UVA from the sunscreen because zinc affords broad spectrum protection against both UVB and UVA. So you're getting good coverage of the ultraviolet light spectrum as far as protecting the health of your skin. The UVA rays are the ones that we don't always detect in our brain because they don't necessarily burn us, but they are what penetrate the skin very deeply, damage collagen, and age us. They also can likely contribute to skin cancers by virtue of suppressing the immune system there. They also drive, UVA is also responsible for driving a lot of persistent hyperpigmentation. People with melasma need to have their brain dialed into their UVA coverage for sure. And so selecting a mineral sunscreen in the United States is a great way to go to get you that coverage. UVA protection in our chemical sunscreens, it's just really not as robust and as consistent and, you know, as long lasting as what you get with the filters that are available in Japan and Europe and Australia, let's say. The problem, however, with mineral-only sunscreens that consumers don't like is that depending on the size of the zinc and or titanium, if that's another ingredient, depending on the size, they can leave quite a noticeable white film on the skin. That's great for sun protection, but people don't like that. Understandably so. It's not very cosmetically appealing. Nobody wants to go around with that white cast. And, you know, if your skin type if your complexion is much darker, that's really going to be noticeable and not gonna be something you're gonna like at all. So when you're choosing a mineral sunscreen, the particle size of the zinc or titanium makes a difference in terms of the aesthetics of how it goes on, okay? So I think that's probably why this sunscreen is so popular, is that the zinc in this and the vehicle that it is in are formulated in such a manner that doesn't leave much of a white cast. It does not have any fragrance, so I like that. Its vehicle is very moisturizing and contains a variety of plant-derived oils, which are more than fine in a moisturizing vehicle. Personally, I don't think they're superior to, you know, dimethicone-based moisturizers. Those are all fantastic as well, despite the demonization against dimethicone that occurs on the internet. They are fine, but, you know, these plant oils are not really problematic, and they can be helpful as well. I have a whole video on plant-derived oils. The one in the Drunk Elephant oil in the Drunk Elephant line that gets where it gets its namesake from is the fruit Sclerochira byrrea, or marula. And, you know, that's a fruit that's indigenous to certain countries in Africa. And there's some lore that elephants can consume this fruit and it's fermented and they get drunk off of it. But I think that is a complete myth. I don't think they actually do get drunk off of it, because turns out an elephant can drink everybody in the animal kingdom under the table. Apparently they have a very high alcohol tolerance, and the amount of marula fruit they would have to be consuming would, probably be all the marula in the world before they could get a little buzz going on. So that's actually largely a myth, but it's popular in many countries in Africa as an ingredient in wines, beers, jams, and that sort of thing. And it is frequently used in cosmetic products because you can get an oil from the fruit and from the stems of the plant. The oil is, in cosmetic studies, seems to be non-irritating. There are no reports that I can find in the medical literature of allergic contact dermatitis to marula oil, so it seems to be fine. There's a lot of anti-aging claims surrounding it that had not been substantiated. So do know that it's really just another fruit oil. It doesn't have any miracle properties that we know of at this point. The other ingredient, though, that I really like in the Drunk Elephant sunscreen is the iron oxide. Iron oxide is frequently in a lot of the tinted sunscreens, and it can offer a little bit of additional protection against some of the broader wavelengths of visible light that we have now learned contribute to melasma. So for people who suffer from hyperpigmentation, melasma, this sunscreen I can see would be a very good choice for you. And I like it overall. I don't have any problems with it. It comes out, like that. And I'm just going to put a little here on my right cheek so you guys can see, So it ends up blending in okay. I don't think it's any better than many other mineral sunscreens out there, to be perfectly frank. I have tried many mineral sunscreens, and there are others out there available in the drugstore that I think perform just as well. The Aveeno Sensitive Skin, I think, will blend into the skin just as nicely. But if you like this one and find that it works well for you, it is a good sunscreen by virtue of the fact that it's a mineral sunscreen. It's giving you good UVB and UVA protection, and it has the iron oxides in it. So I don't have a problem with it. It is very expensive. That is my number one problem with it. I find, however, that people often are willing to pay a little bit more for the sunscreens that they put on their face, neck, ears, versus their body, simply because that's what we see. That's what people are looking at, our face. People wearing makeup want something that plays with their makeup well. So I feel as though consumers are willing to pay a little bit more for, well, just based on what people seem to be plunking down for sunscreens. The consumers are willing to pay a little bit more for sunscreens that go on the face, so long as they go on the face in a cosmetically pleasing way. So I suppose that, the price is, people are willing to pay the price here, but to me it's too expensive, and I personally would not purchase this sunscreen. It's $34 for the 3 ounces, so that's $11.33. I find that a little expensive. There are more expensive sunscreens out there. There are less expensive sunscreens out there. To me, however, the Elta MD sunscreens are superior to this as far as the aesthetics of applying. And, for a pricey sunscreen, that's what I would go with, are the Elta MD ones. I prefer the Elta MD sunscreens over this one as a consumer because they contain far fewer ingredients, and in a very moisturizing vehicle. They blend into the skin really well, and they're my preference. So I personally would not buy this one. I'll list the Elta MD ones that I like down below, but personally I would not buy this one. I don't think it offers anything over those, to be perfectly frank. But I see the popularity here. To me, the Elta ones are superior, though. I think they blend into the skin better. I think the vehicles contain fewer ingredients and are less likely to cause problems. There are a lot of plant-derived oils in here, which, like I said, are fine. They're good moisturizing ingredients, But depending on your background, depending on, you know, your sensitivities, I can't promise they're not going to cause problems. One such ingredient that is common in a lot of natural products, or, you know, kind of these types of products that are organic, cruelty-free, vegan, are alkyl glucosides. They are biodegradable, non-ionic surfactants, okay? So a lot of products that are telling you SLS-free, you know, they will frequently contain these. They are, you know, posited to be less harsh, less irritating than SLS, sodium lauryl sulfate, sodium laureth sulfate. They are comprised of a condensation of glucose and a fatty alcohol, usually derived from a plant. And interestingly enough, they are never demonized, but as they become more prevalent in cosmetic products, leave-on products, as they become more prevalent in sunscreens, there is an increasing incidence of reports of allergic contact dermatitis to these alkyl glucosides. So that is an ingredient in this that they're not going to tell you about, but we actually see problems to that ingredient in real life. Just people can become allergic to it with long-term use. So if you use this and you find it's irritating, stinging, burning, causes any kind of problem, you know, do know there are a lot of players in here that could be causing problems in any one person. Whereas the Elta MD sunscreens don't have those in them. So that's why, for my personal preference, I prefer those to this. So there are many fantastic mineral sunscreens out there. I don't think you need to necessarily spend this kind of money to get a good mineral sunscreen that will blend in the skin well. I mentioned the Aveeno sunscreen. The Elta MD ones I like. I don't happen to think they're that expensive. They last a long time. But for brevity's sake, you know, rather than talking about every single sunscreen in the world, another sunscreen that I happen to like a lot, and is, I think, aesthetically similar to this drunk elephant one, is the Derma E Natural Mineral Sunscreen, SPF 30. You can get this on iHerb. This one on iHerb is $15.80 for 2 ounces, so it's $7.90 per ounce, a little bit, you know, cheaper, definitely cheaper than the Drunk Elephant one. It is likewise 20% zinc oxide, so zinc only, gets you the same good UVB and UVA coverage. However, unfortunately, this one does not have the iron oxides in it like the Drunk Elephant one. So if you're seeking that added protection against visible light, this one does not have that in it, but it's still very good. It blends into the skin equally well as this one, and I happen to really like this one a lot. I think it's a good alternative to that, more affordable. This one also has green tea extract in it. Green tea extract can be helpful for diminishing the appearance of pores. That's actually been shown in a few small studies. So, you know, if you're somebody who finds that sunscreens make your pores more prominent, you might like this green tea containing Derma E one. You know, it looks pretty much identical to Drunk Elephant, but I feel like when I put this one on, it's a little bit lighter, and it will go into the skin a little bit faster. So I actually prefer the Derma E one, just as a consumer, the aesthetics of it. I think it's a little nicer. But they're not completely cast free, as you can see. They both still leave a cast. But I think if you're somebody who's going to go putting makeup on over this, you know, this is maybe less to start with than some of the others. But in my opinion, you know, they both leave a cast. To me, it's not that bad. I don't mind the cast. But they certainly leave a cast. You know, they're not cast free. And I'm pretty fair, you know, because I avoid the sun like none other. So my complexion's pretty fair. You know, if you're say, for example, an African American woman, this is probably not going to be something you like. I'm just going to guess, unless you're wearing makeup on over it. Comment below, people whose skin tone is different than mine, what your experience with this is. I always like to know that, because, you know, I can show you on my skin, but it'd be nice to hear that feedback from you guys if you actually like this. It gets a lot of hype on the internet. I like it. It's not bad. I don't see that it offers much over many other sunscreens. Like I said, the Aveeno Sensitive Skin one I think does just as well as this. In my opinion, goes on just as well. But yeah, that's my review of the Drunk Elephant sunscreen. I hope it was helpful to you guys. I know you all frequently ask me to review many of their products. I haven't tried many of them. I've been sent little samples of some of their things, and I've been just kind of resistant. They don't seem to offer much salient. So comment below on if there's something that you're like really in love with from the line. But to me, it's just like very expensive. It'd be hard for me to recommend any of their products. Nothing really stands out as worth it to me, but I haven't really tried much in their line or been motivated to by virtue of the price. But like I said, someone sent this to me to, you know, consider reviewing for you all, but I don't think I would necessarily go out and buy this myself to be perfectly honest. But it's not a bad sunscreen. And I like that it does put the expiration date on here, so I have until November of 2019 to use this up. If it takes you that long to use up a sunscreen, you're not using it right. But anyways, guys, I hope this video was helpful to you. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.